today I'll be doing a joint review of A Wicked Thing and Kingdom of Ashes by Rhiannon Thomas, not Thompson. I just want to do like a consonants, like kind of like sound of like Rhiannon Thompson. I keep messing up her name, so I'm real sorry, but I got it right. This review is so long overdue. I read A Wicked Thing on February 1st, and then this book came out on February 26th, 28th. This book came out the end of February. I just haven't heard that much about this series on BookTube, so I wanted to do a review for sure of this. It's a duology? Question mark? There's no plans to continue this series. The next book that Rhiannon Thomas has planned for 2017 is called Long May She Reign, which is about a girl who's like 53rd in line for the throne, who's like a scientist who ends up being like put on the throne because everyone else in front of her dies, which is a really cool concept, but we don't go back to this. So I'm like, but I want more. I gave 3 out of 5 stars to A Wicked Thing and 4 out of 5 stars to Kingdom of Ashes. So it was really cool to see Rhiannon Thomas grow and develop as a writer and a storyteller between the two books, since I read them only like a month or two apart, even though they were written a year apart. I probably should do a summary. We're gonna put this down because my hands, they get tired. This book is a fairy tale reimagining, retelling of the Sleeping Beauty tale of what happens when the princess wakes up but everything isn't a happily ever after. Aurora was cursed when she was a child, and her parents have locked her in her tower to keep her away from all spindles, so there aren't any like good fairies from like the typical tale you know. She was cursed by the evil witch Celestine, so until her 18th birthday she has to stay away from all spindles, but she pricks her finger anyways and has been asleep for 100 years. So her country of Illicinia has kind of been an up and down since she's been in this eternal sleep, with coup after coup and usurper after usurper taking over the crown because her line didn't continue holding the kingdom. Also, magic has gone away from the kingdom afterwards, so there's this whole idea that when the sleeping princess awakens that magic will return to the kingdom and everything will be perfect. But she's a real person, she's not a storybook character, and she's not content with being just a story. So after 100 years, the son of the current holder of the throne wakes her up, Roderick, and it's those whole big festivities, and then she's being told what to do immediately. So she's not really content with just being a pawn in their game. Everything and everyone she knows is gone or dead after these 100 years, and she's struggling with that loss while also being told, you have to be perfect, you have to be a princess, you have to just be a face for the people, but we're gonna keep running the kingdom and doing what we want, and you just get to kind of like be locked in your room all the time. So she's not happy with this. So she like escapes. There's like this secret tunnel that she goes out of. I love me a secret tunnel. She just wants to make her own choices. I prefer Kingdom of Ashes to A Wicked Thing because, first of all, Kingdom of Ashes has dragons. There are dragons in this book. And A Wicked Thing is a lot more about the political intrigue, but there's also rebellion happening in the kingdom where people aren't happy, of course. And then there's also a lot of like handsome guys in this. There's like a handsome rebel, there's a dashing foreign prince, there's a handsome prince there. And so the dashing foreign prince, Finnegan, is from a kingdom Van Helm across the sea where dragons awoke about 50 years ago. When he's trying to see what he can get from Aurora, and he's really kind of conniving. He's also my fave. I think this is something I really would have enjoyed when I was like 9 through 13, when I was reading a lot of retellings, like anything by Gail Carson Levine or Just Ella by Margaret Peterson Haddix. Like those both kind of had like that fairy tale princess vibe of not being just who you're told you're supposed to be. This kind of fits in with that, and I feel like if I'd read this when I was younger, I would have like given these both 5 stars. I really enjoyed revisiting this like niche genre now that I'm older and like kind of reliving my childhood vicariously through a book. Though I do prefer Kingdom of Ashes, it's worth reading A Wicked Thing to get to Kingdom of Ashes because Kingdom of Ashes is fabulous. Oh my gosh, there's dragons, and there's romance, and there's magic, and there's intrigue, there's adventure, and there's dragons. Guys, there's dragons! So Wicked Thing's all about like the political intrigue and the secrets and a lot of building up for Kingdom of Ashes, which expounds on that and the choices and non-choices that Aurora has to make of not just being responsible or doing something because she has to, but because she wants to. There is a TV show being optioned called After, but it's by Freeform. We know how Freeform adapts things. Definitely know how the book fandom feels about Shadowhunters because I'm a part of that. I'm just like, what is all of this? I just see it being like this really weird mix of like Rain with Shadowhunters with Pretty Little Liars and Once Upon a Time thrown in, and just making up all this stuff. They're gonna have to expound because there's not that much in A Wicked Thing that they're just gonna like make crap up. But Freeform, I'm gonna quote Tim Gunn at you and be thoughtful, okay? Use it very thoughtfully, because if you mess up my little baby Aurora, I'm coming for you, I'm coming. I think that's all I can say without spoiling this story. So now I'm gonna jump into my spoiler section, which you do have to read both A Wicked Thing and Kingdom of Ashes to be able to watch this, because I just kind of jump between those. Bye on spoilers! First, I guess I'll start with what I didn't like. I don't know, I'm just gonna jump around in this. It's not gonna be very like linear. It's been like 2 months since I read A Wicked Thing. Both books kind of felt repetitive in like having the same conversation multiple times. In A Wicked Thing, she kind of has that same conversation with Iris about her choices and whether she should be a quiet, calm princess, and then in Kingdom of Ashes they kind of have the same conversation about magic and how she got her magic and what's Celestine planning and does she have dragon magic or what. Both of those conversations happen multiple times, so I guess it's supposed to like remind us and keep it fresh, but it kind of got repetitive. I absolutely loved Aurora like escaping the castle in A Wicked Thing to go to the Dancing Unicorn, which I want to go to like a pub named the Dancing Unicorn. Find me one anywhere in the world and we'll like have a meetup there to like meet Tristan. So like I was definitely like all for Tristan at first until his ideas got a little too radical. It was really fun that he like got her like those books about like the pirate Dan. There just was like so much that wasn't answered in A Wicked Thing that was frustrating. I love like why Aurora's mother made this deal with Celestine and what the whole deal was and what type of magic does Aurora actually have and why will she come to Celestine in the future. There just was so much not answered, so that's why I was like really like foaming at the mouth waiting for Kingdom of Ashes. Also dragons. There just was so much not answered, which I guess was good, but with a duology I kind of want them both to be balanced. Aurora's magic is so cool, but I was right there with her making the same assumptions as her because we're reading from her. I just like accepted them face value, and Rhiannon Thomas like just like blew my mind away. Like I knew she had like some sort of weird magic and a Wicked Thing because they kind of talk about the corset of her dress being kind of like scales of a dragon. Like what if she turns into a dragon? That could have been cool, but it's not. So I knew she had this fire magic, but I thought that's all she had because that's all she thought she had. I was not being a very critical reader while reading this. I just was kind of swept up in each moment, which is good and bad. And Nettle is such a cool supporting character talking about her outcast status because then she's traveled all over this world and how people view her as an outsider. But she's a spy and a strong woman, yeah! And she lives, thank God. I'm tired of people dying on me. And I really love that Kingdom of Ashes was set so much in Van Helm with like, it's kind of like this steampunk magic world. Magic's on the outside because they've been pushed to this one island, but they've made do and advanced so much more besides the rural typical storybook village, you know, like they have like these trolleys and they have like these tall skyscraper buildings. Modern city in despite of everything else going on around them. Okay, the dragons, terrifyingly cool. And I totally saw Lucas's betrayal coming. Like I knew something was happening with him, but dudes needs to stop. And I really did believe that Aurora had like dragon magic and not just like a magic connection until she ate the dragon heart with Celestine. Which, did anyone else have like Game of Thrones Daenerys feels when she has to eat that horse heart to make her baby strong? I did. That was kind of turning my stomach a little. I was so uncomfy. And then I so did not call Celestine being Elise. I watched a few reviews of A Wicked Thing that came out last year, and some people like did assume that Celestine was Elise because Celestine is saying that she's a different version of Aurora, and Aurora compares herself to Elise a lot. But I didn't make that whole connection. I thought Aurora was Elise or like some reincarnation of Elise, that like each like woman of this line becomes Elise. That's not the case. Celestine was, and I just did not see it, and I feel so stupid because when you see a lost princess you assume it's the protagonist and not the villain. Now let's talk about like my OTP forever, Aurora and Finn. He has a nickname for her. They go to like on an art museum date, which is just goals, and he calls her Aurora just like out of nowhere. She doesn't react to it, but I'm reacting because I'm having feelings here. In A Wicked Thing he sounds like he's like 35 or something when she's like 18, but really he's like 23, 24, so like that's really not an age difference at all. And so once we got more of him, I'm just like, yep, keep it coming, keep him coming, keep him coming. I loved him a lot in like A Wicked Thing because he's like, go dragon girl, burn them all. He's like supporting her and supporting her magic and what she wants to do. Hold on. This is like the one note I made. And they finally kiss because he's like, I want you to kiss me because he kissed her without her permission and so many people have kissed her without her permission. But he's like, I want you to be the one to kiss me. Everybody else had always said stop. But Finnegan said go. Fight, rage, think, cry, kiss, be free. And just like supporting her for who she is and wanting to help her find her magic. But I mean, he's a little bit selfish of like wanting her to help his country, but he does want her to make her own choices. And then they have that scene at the park where she's just like shooting little like fire flame balls up in the sky. Just gave me so many Tangled feels. Oh, it was so precious. I really hope that they like rule the kingdom together and that he like abdicates Van Helm and gives it to Aaron. I don't really know how that's gonna work because they're two kingdoms. Orla, the Queen of Van Helm, was right and said that like Alicenia does belong to her too. How does that work? So much of what Aurora does is because she thinks she's supposed to for her people even though they don't appreciate her. She didn't plan on ruling the kingdom. She wanted to come, overthrow it, be the evil villain to them, and then have Finnegan or Roderick rule. I thought she would have like had a better plan instead of just been like, let's wing it. Haha, because there's dragons and they have wings, that they have wings. She's just talking to all these people who knew that they were gonna rule. So like Orla, who's been ruling and she's respected as a queen, and that there have been female rulers in Van Helm, and that Erin is kind of like following her footsteps. Whereas Aurora, she knew she probably would lead at one point, but she didn't have time to think about that in her first life when her parents were locking her up. So now that she's gone through the new Alicenia, where she would have just been like a pawn and a figurehead, and she actually can make choices and be her own person, it was a really good character development to try and figure out like why she was doing this for people, not just because she was supposed to, but because she wanted to, and she wanted to help and restore her country because she has all this pride for her country. I don't know, but I'm really glad that King John is dead. I don't know who's gonna rule with her, because Roderick's supposed to be her true love, because it would have been if she hadn't been told that he was her true love, but then Finnegan's really cute. So I don't really know where this is gonna go, and this is really open-ended end of a review, but that's because this is such an open-ended end of a book, which is frustrating. Well, I want there to be a third book because I have so many unresolved questions. I just felt like there should have been like another like epilogue at the end of this book to resolve things. I did enjoy this. I plan to read anything else that Rhiannon Thomas puts out because I see her evolve and grow further with each writing, and I really want to read her like feminist website because I'm just like obsessed with feminism. Yeah. Well, thanks guys so much for watching. My name is Laura. This has been Bookies and Cookies, and I post videos on Sundays and Saturdays with book reviews on Thursdays. I love each and every one of you. I hope you never forget it, and remember to read books about dragons. Thanks guys. Kingdom of Ashes by Rhiannon Thomas. Not Thompson, I got it right. It's just like with the Rhiannon, how long her first name is, I want to do like alliteration at the end of the word. There's a word for that. Synonyms, consonants, oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. The next book that Rhiannon Thompson is gonna, there it goes again.